The good news is that it is Cob-October, and all our local spots where the guys target them, they have been landing some bus-sized cob.
So the recent rains have given the rivers a nice boost, and just enough to get the moving waters moving. And conditions have improved on the stream side, and the fishing is starting to take off.
There you go, buddy. Hit it now!
This is the Angler News SA podcast. I'm Vanessa Green. Hello. Welcome to another episode of Angler News SA. Now, guys, as the dust settled, as the sea settled, as the winds calm down, it has been game on. It's been on like Donkey Kong on KZN. The anglers of KZN took full advantage throughout the entire East Coast, and the flavor of the week has been stumpies and grunter, garrick and tuna. But let's not forget about the cob and the brusher that are still very much on the bite. And if you're into your non-edible action, well, guys, that came in the form of those flatties, which were those blue skates down the south coast. As for that freshwater action, well, you are definitely in for a treat with Jan. I'm not going to tell you much about that because, I really want you to listen to this one. Now, guys, there has been fish. There's been a lot of fish. The weather is looking absolutely perfect for this weekend, and KZN has it all. And not just that, we've got what you want. We've got what you need. We have got the KZN's greatest fishing reporters ever known to mankind, and they are going to put you right into those sweet spots this weekend. So all you need to do is just sit back, relax, listen up, and we are going to get right into it. But before we do, huge shout out to our sponsors, the Kingfisher.
The Kingfisher are the leading fishing tackle specialist. We stock gear for every facet of fishing, from carp to cooter, marlin to trout. Basically, everything. We have stores across KZN, from Toti to Salt Rock, Durban to Pietermaritzburg. You can also find us online at kingfisher.co.za.
Thank you, the Kingfisher. Now, guys, you know the Kingfisher rocks, right? Not only do they bring us the latest fishing news our coastline has to offer, they have just brought us the greatest reel that I've ever seen. Now, I've been talking about the Daiwa Saltiga for a good couple of months. Well, it's officially here in South Africa, and it'll be available next week for you to go and have a look at, to have a sniff at, to have a little drool over, and all you need to do is just wipe it. That's how simple it is, guys. The new Daiwa Saltiga is out here. Follow socials. I'll be telling you a lot more about that. But what we are talking about right now is the weekend's fishing report, and we are kicking it off with Mike V and Brad Krubler.
How's it, guys? Yes, it's still all about the edibles, but saying that, in the mix there are some lovely inedibles being caught. Most of the guys are still busy chasing bronze bream, cobs, stumpies, grunters, those sort of things. But in the mix, they're catching the odd brown, odd small diamond, odd sandy, things like that. A lot of the oaks are traveling north and south to get their bronze bream. Cob mainly north. A couple of guys are getting them down the south coast. But the stumpies have been on the Durban North beaches quite prolific. Some nice ones from 1 kilo up to 5-6 kilos. So in the mix, you're getting some really good fish. The guys trying with a live bait are getting a couple grey sharks down there while they're fishing for the cob. So there's a bite. Oaks fishing on the ski boats and the paddle skis have been mainly chasing the bottoms, the albacores, the amberjacks, geelbeck, doggers, those sort of things. After they finish doing that, they're coming back trying to put some snook here and then that. They are getting a couple snook, not the numbers that they were getting, but the guys are still getting some snook. Cooter should start and hopefully the next month or so, even with the Dorado. But the guys have been getting the odd ones, so it is worth a try. The bay, lots of grunter in the bay, but all undersized mainly. There are 1 or 2 decent ones in the mix there, but it's mainly been a lot of undersized fish. 1 or 2 lovely cob were caught in the last week, up to 5 and 6 kilos. It hasn't fired as much as I thought it would, but it should get better. Guys, have a great day. This is Mike V for NSA. Thanks.
Good day, guys. Brad from Linsky Fishing Charters with the ski boat fishing report from the last week. All the people who live in the lovely place of KZN know the weather has been atrocious. When I say we've had winds from northeasters and then the next day winds from southwesters, it's been ping pong weather with just gale force and not much time for the sea to settle in. The couple of little windows that were available when the guys got out, there are still some decent fish around if you're willing to go and play around in the real bumpy sea. There was some nice geelbeck and some decent bottom fish caught. Not much of the game fish side on the snook and the cooter. The weather was just not conducive to this. There were some nice cob and stuff caught in the the shallows, real shallows of the Durban beachfront area, only place where people really could go out and hide away. The water's starting to warm up. The game fish are starting to show their faces from Richards Bay side. So yeah, guys, time to get all the nice, good game stuff ready and time for the fun to start. This is Brad for Angling News South Africa, and speak to you guys all next week.
Thank you, Mike and Brad. What a start to the show. I absolutely love it. Durban has the fish. Alrighty, now let's move slightly out of Durban. Let's move into Durban North with Michaela Daniels.
What's up, everyone? This is Michaela from Durban, reporting for Angler News SA. It's been another tough week for our Durban anglers, but for those who braved the weather, their efforts certainly paid off, with some lovely-sized species having been caught in our local Durban areas. Starting off at Blue Lagoon, not many anglers risked fishing off the bricks, but there were reports of a few stumpies, grunter, and 1 or 2 cob being caught from the surf on the north bank, while our beachwood anglers pulled in a few diamond rays and 1 or 2 stumpies. Moving along to Virginia, it's still the usual blacktail and a few grunter and the odd ray coming out, while our longer fishermen had yet another week of success with the stumpies. On the offshore side, there's still plenty of garrick around, but with how dirty the water's been, guys are mainly getting them out at the deeper bait marks, while our bottoms are still firing with geelbeck and darger. Moving further up the coast to our last stop, that is in Floaty, the guys have been getting some lovely stumpies, bronzies, and a few cob in between the bricks. While on the offshore side, it's still been all about darger and geelbeck, with some quality sizes coming out. Reminder that it is close season for shad, so please keep that in mind, guys, and be sure to release. That's all from me for this week. Have a great one, and tight lines, everyone.
Thank you, Michaela. Guys, what I love about this girl is that she is so hands-on. She literally gets in touch with the anglers of what's been going on at Blue Lagoon and at Virginia, all around Durban North, and gets down there. She is hands-on. She is fishing. She is out on the ski boat every week, getting an outside view of what's been going on the coastline, and then hopping onto the coastline and finding out what's going on. Absolutely legendary stuff, Michaela. Great job. Now, someone else that's as involved, someone that is so passionate. I fished with her on Sunday morning. This woman can throw, she can cast, she can bait, she can fish. She has got all the boxes ticked when it comes to angling. However, that's not what I'm interested right now. I am interested in the North Coast. I have been seeing some stuff on the socials. However, Deandra has the entire lowdown of what's been going on. Guys, this is our North Coast report.
Hi, fellow anglers. Deandra here reporting from the North Coast for Angler News South Africa. This week kicked off with a rough start with regards to the weather. The wind was pumping on a few days, but regardless, anglers braved it out. The weekend was a hit on the North Coast with diamonds and sandies taking the lead for the non-edibles on rock and surf. And for offshore, it's yet again been a tuna frenzy for the upper North Coast on St. Lucia side. A few anglers also showed off with monster catches of cob with both rock and surf as well as offshore. Moving down towards Belito, a beast of a muscle cracker and a few decent garrick was landed. Stumpies and bream are still hot on the bite, with a few bonefish kicking up a good fight with some anglers while targeting the grey sharks. The blues and brown rays are showing up more frequently as anglers put out their baits for diamonds and sandies. The blues have, however, been loving the red eye baits casted out to target these species. The fishing reports has been really good for the North Coast the past week or so, and I'm looking forward to fish some of the new spots in this area this coming week. May you catch your personal best this week and tight lines.
Thank you, Deandra. Guys, we knew that North Coast was going to be picking up. In fact, when I was talking to Deandra this week, she said, you know what, we could do an entire podcast on just the North Coast. And I'm like, I know we could, because this is that time of the year. As it warms up, that North Coast starts cooking. All right, but we're going to get into more of that later on. Guys, oh, it's the Midlands. It's been firing. Jan has been smiling ear to ear. He is loving the trout. He's loving the scalies. He's loving the bass. He's loving the carp, the barbel. Whatever is swimming outside the salt water, Jan knows about it. And this is the moment where he tells us all about it.
Hey there, guys. So the recent rains have given the rivers a nice boost, and just enough to get the moving waters moving, just a bit more than that of last month. And conditions have improved on the stream side, and the fishing is starting to take off. But dare we ask, just a little bit more, a little, not a deluge, I say, and conditions will be sublime. That being said, the current chill in the air shows that the weatherman is still somewhat betwixt and between, as there's been good snowfall reported on top of the berg once again. And my recent reports to the base of the mountains have shown that there's some good water coming off, which just needs to make its way into the main streams. And the still waters will benefit from the rainfall too, and making getting there just all that much more quote-unquote fun, if you can call it that. So my last visit, I haven't seen so much mud driving through the Midlands, or even the traction control dashboard light in my vehicle before. and I even temporarily forgot what color my car was. Returns from the Natal Fly Fishers Club river anglers note that the river has been colored up by the recent rains, and that is on the middle to lower beat, while the upper reaches of the river, for example in the Camberg Nature Reserve, will still be running clear. Anglers on the Bushmans and Umgani rivers report crystal clear waters in the upper reaches, and with brown trout happily sipping dries off the surface. The NFFC still waters are fishing well, and as a recent return noted, one of the best days I've had. The dam was in beautiful condition, and with a couple of returns reporting fish, that is rainbows and even a brown trout, in the 19 to 21 inch, or that is 48 to 53 centimeter class. And October is noted officially as being the first post-spawn month and a period where fish are feeding up straight after winter. Larger prey items should be back on the menu. Flies that are currently working well are woolly buggers, minnow, dragon and damselfly patterns, as well as tadpoles. Takes will be significantly harder on these larger patterns, so guys, tip it up in order not to get broken off. As the weather warms, so should the bass activity, but there hasn't been much of a peep from the two premier Midlands bass waters, that is Albert Falls and Midmar. But reports from the private waters, however, are coming in with some excellent fish, with even a 5-kilogram bucket mouth being reported as far afield as Winterton. Michael Dickerson from the shop here has been putting our new Daiwa Black Series rods through their paces and has some glowing praise for these sticks. Our guys come in to chat to Michael and get the lowdown. Scalies continue to fly the flag for the Midlands anglers, as well as further afield on the Tugela. And if that yellow bar of gold is still on your radar, the time to get on the water is now, before we get too much rain and the lower reaches go chocolate. Guys, do stop in the Kingfisher Madsburg for the best in tackle advice. And this is Jan Korabel reporting for Kingfisher and for Angler News South Africa.
Oh, Jan, my friend, you are a freshwater wizard. I promise you, I love your metaphors. You know I love your metaphors, right? I always have. But what I really love about Jan's fishing report is that he doesn't just tell you about the fish that has been coming out. He even gives you those tips and tricks of how to go and actually catch them, which is brilliant. That's exactly what we want. This is why we have the best reporters in KZN. Jan is certainly one of them. Now, talking about reporters and guys that are getting us onto the fish, it is time for the South Coast. It is time before we get into our South Coast Guru. We are kicking it off with Ray Thompson.
As I said before, there's been a lot of edible fish all the way from basically Scottborough all the way through to the Bluff. Now, the good news is we've had a couple of summer patterns coming through, and this weekend was no different. The flatfish did turn on. There were quite a few blue rays caught in the Scottborough area, quite a few cob as well in the Scottborough area. Totally threw some blue rays. The next couple of days, guys, it is looking absolutely awesome. So sharpen those hooks, make those traces and get those baits ready. The weekend is here and our summer fish are starting.
Thank you, Ray. Oh, man, you are getting me amped for this weekend. Thank goodness we are literally 24 hours away. I cannot wait to put that rod together and bait up and get a line in the water. Now, guys, it is to run off the show with our South Coast Guru, the one, the only, the guy they are singing songs about already down the South Coast. His reports are so accurate that I have no doubt by the time I head down to Margate in December, I will see a statue of him on Margate Pier. Guys, this is Adam Lyon.
Good day, Vinesh. I hope you're doing well, my friends, and all the listeners out there on East Coast Radio have had an epic week. It's been absolutely beautiful down on the South Coast in terms of fishing, and in particularly rock fishing. It has definitely turned on. The guys have got some stunning galleon, beautiful bronze bream, some big blacktail, and also brusher. So nice to see the rock fishing firing again. In terms of the game species, there's been one or two garricks further north and further south of us. Nothing really to write home about down on the coast. However, it is Cobtober, and there is cob around. 100% sure, Vinesh, with all the usual spots where we target these particular fish have been firing and have been landing some beautiful sizes. So really nice to see that. In terms of the non-ed fishing, it has been a little bit swat. Now, we have had the odd small grey pop up here and there, the usual suspects as always down on the South Coast. The flatfish, the guys have been trying, but nothing really great. Not like the North Coast. And also the sandies, I see the guys up north are catching, and in the Durban area. However, nothing really down here. So I don't know if that would be something I would target. We do see that the water is still a little bit cold at this stage, where, you know, the water temp sitting around that 19-20 degree mark, where the guys also in the Transkei are catching some raggies. So hopefully those species start pushing up this way towards us. Now, in terms of game fishing, The garrick haven't really been around at this stage. A little bit swak on that side as well, unfortunately, Vinesh. However, the good news is that it is Cob-tober, and all our local spots where the guys target them, they have been landing some bus-sized cob. So really good to see that as well. It is holiday times, as we know, and I do see a few people trying out the rivers and the lagoons. However, it hasn't really been that exciting, so I don't know if I'd want to try that. But being the South Coast, we have a plethora of options for you guys if you are coming to the coast. There's most of our local dams. You've got sand fishing, rock fishing, you've got most of the piers, and it's just fun to be had in the sun, Vinesh, anywhere down on the coast at this stage. Otherwise, guys, stay safe, tight lines, enjoy the holiday, and let's see those catches.
Yo, what a way to bring it home. Oh, I love it. Cob-tober. That's what we are talking about. Oh, guys, it is brilliant. Lots of edibles down there. Like Adam said, there's no non-eds. That's fine. That's in Durban. We want to head out there. We want to get that stumpies. We want to get the grunter. We want to get the garrick. We want to get the brusher. We want to get that cob. So it's all happening all over the South Coast, all over the North Coast, all over Durban, all over Offshore and the Midlands. So it depends on where you want to go. We are so spoiled with options in here in KZN. We are so spoiled for the amount of species of facets we can target, and it's all just literally a stone throw away. So the question is, where are you going? What are you fishing for? What are you fishing with? Let me know in the comments. Drop it down there. Guys, I hope I see you on the beach this week. I may even see you at Albert Falls this week. We'll never know. I love it. It's KZN. It's fishing. And most importantly, this is the Angler News SA podcast. I'm Vanessa Green. Find more episodes at ecr.co.za under podcasts or your favorite podcast app. Let's fish for the future.